Morning is Shoney's Inc. today, and we're fortunate to have with us the chairman and CEO of Shoney's Inc. today, Mr. THenry. And Mr. Henry, let me welcome you to the show this morning.
Well, thank you very much for inviting me.
Mr. Henry, I think that many people understand that Shoney's Inc. is a very, very important restaurant concept. But before we get into our topic of Shoney's Inc. today, and to talk about some of the things that will make up Shoney's Inc. today, let's talk about you and your background and your education and some of the things that led you to the chairman and CEO of this very, very important company.
Okay, well, I graduated from the University of Alabama back in 1957, served 2 years in the military, came out a first lieutenant, got my CPA certificate, worked with Ernst & Young. And I was in Atlanta, this is back in 1974, reading the sports page one day, and I saw an ad, Shoney's Big Boy Enterprises looking for a chief financial officer. It was a company with revenues of about $50 million, and it was really something I'd really been interested in, so I responded to the ad, and I ended up joining the company back in August of 1974 as chief financial officer. And at that time, the revenues were about 57 million, and today they'll be 1 billion. Mm-hmm. And so I continued with the company, and in December the 17th, 1993, I was asked to be the chairman of the board and chief executive officer of the company.
Very good. Let's look at Shoney's Inc. And let's talk about the history of that company. I think you've already given us some information in terms of the financial stability and the financial wherewithal of the company, but let's talk about the history of Shoney's and the various concepts that are connected with Shoney's.
Okay, the company, Shoney's, was named after Alex Schoenbaum, and Alex Schoenbaum was one of the original founders, and he opened his first restaurant back in 1951 in Charleston, West Virginia, and we originally were Shoney's franchisee under the Big Boy system. Mm-hmm. And you know, since then we've broken away from that, but the company here in Middle Tennessee was a sort of a sub-franchisee of Alex Schoenbaum. The two companies merged back in 1971, and the name was changed to the current Shoney's Inc. Now today, you know, we started off as Shoney's Big Boy Restaurants, now we're Shoney's Restaurants, but we're really 5 different restaurant companies. We've got the Shoney's Restaurants, Captain D's, Lee's Famous Recipe, Pargo's, and Fifth Quarter. In addition to that, we have 3 other divisions of the company. We have a commissary operation that sells over $500 million of food to all the company units and franchisees. Every restaurant is shipped to about 3 times a week.
Well, how many stores do you have in the Shoney's concept?
Shoney's concept, we have about 850. That's company and franchise units. And
you also have inns, do you not? I mean, are those inns connected with Shoney's?
They were at one time, and we sold the inns to a company called Show Lodge. In fact, I am on their board of directors. It's a publicly owned company now, as well as Shoney's Inc. And it's a publicly owned company, and in fact, we own stock in it.
And now, of course, all 5 of the various Shoney's concepts fall under Shoney's Inc.
They all fall under Shoney's Inc., and we own a number of these restaurants, over 1,000, and we franchise, 850, and we franchise over 1,000. And we also have a company called Mike Rose Foods Inc. If you ever go to Shoney's, you know, you have these big vats of salad dressings. Mm-hmm. They make the salad dressings that are served throughout the Shoney's concept.
Okay, so you've got a restaurant chain, and you've got several concepts that are connected with that. I think one of the real problems in terms of dealing with some of the restaurant concepts is this idea of franchising. Mm-hmm. And I think quite recently there's been some controversy in terms of minority employment and minority participation in franchising and et cetera. Shoney's, I think, has been involved in franchising and minority affairs for quite a while. And let's talk about the role that Shoney's has played in minority affairs, and what are you doing in terms of meeting the mandates that you've already established?
Well, in franchising alone, if you look back 3 years ago, we had 2 minority franchisees that each had 1 unit, 2 units. Today we have 15 minority franchisees that operate 27 units, and there are more on the way. Warren Thompson, who has a company called Thompson Hospitality, will one day be the largest minority franchisee in the United States. We jointly entered into a deal with him to buy out some 40 restaurants from Marriott Corporation, known as Big Boy, with the idea of converting every one of them to Shoney's restaurants. We're going to convert 7, and he's going to convert 31. So he'll have one day 31 Shoney's restaurants, and he will be the biggest.
But you've also other people who are also involved.
For example, we just had a grand opening over in Jacksonville, Florida. Ken and Annie Banks. Ken and Annie Banks each have about 20 years of service with Southern Bell Telephone, and Annie decided she had her 20 years and a pension, and she wanted to be a franchisee, do something on her own. And so we had a groundbreaking ceremony, and she is going to be a Lee's Famous Recipe franchisee right in the heart of Jacksonville.
You know, when we talk about black people becoming involved in franchising, we are often talking about persons who might have limited resources, financial resources. What are you doing in terms of, as an organization, in terms of trying to create a situation that would make it easier for people to become involved in the franchise operation?
If you go back to Ken and Annie Banks, we own the land and building, and we're leasing it to them at favorable terms, and we're giving them the option at any time they want to buy it back from us at cost. But in the meantime, most of the capital goes into the land and building. And knowing that, I think most banks are willing to make a loan knowing that Shoney's Inc. is behind the lease. And so they didn't have any difficulty getting a loan for the equipment. And so we'll supply all the food, keep the books, and the royalty, which is $10,000, they only have to pay $1,000 of it, and they can pay the balance over an extended period of time.
And so instead of having to pay $10,000 up front,
they only pay $1,000. And the royalty, which is 3% of sales, will begin at 1% and gradually go up to 3%. You know, several years from now, once they're established and they're doing well and they got their financing, then they'll pay the full rate. So we help them out there. And we did the same thing for Warren Thompson.
Very good. As a matter of fact, I think Shoney's also became involved with the SNCLC, Southern
Christian Leadership Conference with Dr. Joe Lowry.
Why don't you give us some information about the first agreement that that your company and the organization went into, and the more recent agreement that was signed between.
Okay. Well, in 1989, we entered into a 3-year covenant with the SCLC. And it was $30 million per year in business and economic opportunities and franchising. And we went over that by some, we exceeded the $90 million goal by some $36 million, over 39% over the goal. And we were really pleased with that record. And so we voluntarily agreed, let's do it again. You know, it gives us something to shoot for. It's a good workable goal. And in May, we signed a 2-year covenant, a good faith covenant, $30 million a year for 2 years. Let me give you one example. Charles Kemp, African-American over in Jacksonville, Florida, has a company, and we've agreed to buy about $1 million worth of chicken every year for our Lee's chicken. It's the same price, same quality, but to him, it's a great deal because he's got now sales of $2.5 million, $1 million to us, and it establishes credibility for him and really helps him to get a foothold.
Now, this is Shoney's attempt